And welcome into another episode of Tony Sports. My name is Dan Snyder. I just really felt like emphasizing the Dan Tony this week. Why, guys? Because I'm in a good fucking mood. Joined by Tony, Dan O'Shea, Dan Beebe, the usual cast of misfits. Guys, what's up?
What's going on?
I had dental work done today. My mouth hurts, so...
That sucks.
But you're in a great mood after dental work?
That's how much I love college football.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
What a champion.
Yes. So we have a lot to talk about tonight, even though we have like one topic. We're going to briefly mention a couple of high-profile NFL players who are holding out from camps. The absolutely insane thing that Julio Jones said today. And, of course, we're going to talk the ACC football. We're going to give you all the buzzwords. Trevor Lawrence, ETN, pretty much anything you could think of, we're going to throw at you with the ACC, including tonight's Vicious Volley. Gentlemen, I'm sick of choosing who's going to start. Who wants to start tonight's Vicious Volley?
I don't even know what it is, but I'll start. I don't give a shit.
All right, Tony. Tony, stepping up to the plate. So, tonight's Vicious Volley is, it's going to be a pretty easy-ish one for some and difficult for others. I want to know the head coaches of the teams in the ACC. Tony, we'll start with you.
Okay, let's see. Mainly because I just read it when I was doing actual research for the zero I had prepared for, so I know I'll get this one right. Jeff Collins.
Jeff Collins is correct. Dan O'Shea.
I'm just going to bow out of this one. I have no idea.
Okay. Dan Beebe.
Not out.
Tony wins. All right, so...
Woo!
You got Steve Adazio at Boston College, Dabo Sweeney at Clemson.
Oh, I knew freaking Dabo.
Willie Taggart at Florida State.
I knew Taggart, too.
Scott Satterfield, the most overrated coach in the ACC at Louisville. Manny Diaz is the Miami head coach. Mac Brown, the new head coach of the North Carolina Tar Heels. You've got Dave Doran of NC State. I forgot, and I had to look this guy up. Pat Narduzzi, very underrated coach.
Awesome
Pitt.
name.
Yeah, Pat Narduzzi. Yep.
Narduzzi!
Yeah. Syracuse has Dino Babers. Virginia has Bronco Mendenhall. Virginia Tech with Justin Fuente. And Dave Clawson at Wake Forest. I didn't know Dave Clawson, but Bronco Mendenhall snatched him from BYU. Anyways, that was the shittiest Vicious Volley.
Why would you leave Boise State when your name is Bronco?
Oh, it wasn't Boise State. It was BYU Brigham Young.
Oh, I was going to say, he feels like he should be at Boise State.
He does. He does. So, let's get right into it. Should we start with the crazy-ass thing that Julio Jones said, or should we start with who's not with their teams at camp?
Your call.
Crazy-ass Julio.
We'll start with crazy-ass Julio Jones. Julio Jones said, and I'm not going to quote because I don't have the exact quote in front of me, something along the lines of, who knows, maybe I'll mess around and catch 3,000 yards this season. What? That's almost 200 yards per game.
I think
he's one of the few people where there's like a small chance of that happening, but it's still not happening.
No, they've got... So, if I had to put money on someone catching 3,000 yards, it would be Antonio Brown, because Oakland has no one else to catch the ball.
But they lose most of those games.
Yeah.
I mean, that's possible, and they could be down. I think Julio Jones was being more sarcastic and joking about it.
I hope so.
I don't think that he doubts his ability to do it. I mean, it seems like an outrageous statement, especially just in general, because the fact that, one, that's like you said, 200 yards per game, it'd be extremely hard to even pull off. Secondly, it's not like teams don't know who the fuck you are, man. Like, I'm pretty sure you've been on every scouting report from teams since you've been 11.
Basically.
Okay, so I don't think you're going to catch anyone by surprise here. There's a lot of double teams. He had a hard time getting his catches last year because, I wonder who Matt Ryan's going to throw the ball to. That's why the other players on his team were going off, because everyone was guarding Julio.
Right, but which running back did they get rid of? They had Tevin. I think they got rid of Tevin Coleman, right? Devontae Freeman is still a Falcon.
Yeah, I think they did get rid of Coleman.
Okay, hitting Freeman out of the backfield is great. Austin Hooper is a very good tight end. Calvin Ridley looks like he could be an all-star.
He's a
and
great
Julio
slot
Jones,
receiver.
that team could be deadly. That's why I don't.
Offensively, yes. And if we're being fair, Atlanta has spent a lot of time draft-wise improving that defense. They've had some good defensive draft picks recently.
And they're just so unlucky with their defense because for the second straight season, both starting safeties are out before the start of the season.
Yeah, you can't control that. You can control blowing a fucking huge lead in the Super Bowl if you're just not stupid.
That's a good point. But no, to your point, they have drafted pretty well on defense. The two biggest ones that come to me are, what's his name, Vic Beasley and Tack McKinley.
Yeah, Vic Beasley always stands out because he raises terror.
Super underrated.
All over the place, too. And I don't think he gets as much credit as he probably should for
He gets
most people.
no credit.
Mainly because of the fact that he plays in Atlanta. And when you say Atlanta, the first thing that comes to mind, sure as shit, isn't defense. It's never been. And throughout their history, it's never been defense. So, I don't sleep on them this season. And maybe Julio Jones does, mess around and get 3,000. I'm not betting on it by any means. I'm not even with change in my pocket, and I don't think I have any change.
If someone said to me, you have to place a $10 bet, or however much, on one wide receiver, ever, to have 3,000 yards in a season, the only person I'm confident that could have done it is Calvin Johnson.
I think, yeah, that's probably fair.
He is, in my opinion, if there was ever going to be a 3,000-yard receiver, it's him.
It's him or somebody that isn't in the league yet. Although, that being said, Josh Gordon had the potential to do that if he didn't piss away everything. Because there were times where this dude would go off for 200-yard games, like back-to-back, like it was nothing. And that's playing with some really shitty quarterbacks.
Who knows? Amari Cooper might mess around and get to 3,000. Who else is Dak going to throw to?
True.
Not Allen Hurns.
But they're not. It's not like teams aren't going to know where the ball's going.
No, the Cowboys have done good enough to alleviate the issues they've had with losing players. Cobb, good enough to replace.
Cobb?
Yeah, he's good enough.
What, in a fucking wheelchair?
He's good enough to replace
He's like
Cole
80.
Beasley.
He's like 80 years old.
He's not like 80 years old.
You brought up something required.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's going to break a hip, but all right. Keep believing that. It's nice to have dreams.
I'm not saying he's going to be a superstar, but
No,
he's
he won't. Don't worry about that.
He's going to be good enough to make up for what they're losing with Cole Beasley.
They'll rebuild him.
Sure. If that's what you want to believe, then sure. Like I said, it's nice to have dreams.
You watch. You watch. Anyways.
I will be watching.
Megatron 2.0.
No.
But yeah, 3,000 yards, Julio. Just worry about catching a touchdown. Because that's what all the comments were saying. He can catch for 10,000.
He didn't have touchdowns last year. But
or the year before.
But that's what happens when you're that player. You guard the biggest dude in the fucking red zone. The last thing you want to do, to me, like getting out jumped in the end zone one-on-one is the football equivalent to getting posterized. You never want to have that shit happen.
It's a good point. But still.
Especially if you're on the fucking goal line. I don't give a shit if I'm a defensive back. I will PI all day to prevent you from catching that ball. All day. If they end up running it up the gut, oh, that's the defensive line's fault, but I wasn't giving up 6.
That's it's quite the accomplishment there, Tony.
Whatever, man. He didn't score on my ass.
But no one ever thinks, when you think of defense, no one ever thinks of individuals bearing all the responsibility.
When somebody gets their ass beat or smoked, it is their responsibility.
I mean, I guess the only person I could think of, like...
If a wide receiver crosses you up and you fall down, yeah, everyone's looking at you.
No one's going to remember that, though.
Oh, I will. I definitely will, because you just got embarrassed on fucking television.
But the Falcons' defense, going back to it, the only time I can remember a Falcons defender actually being great, not being underrated, and actually leading a bad defense to having a decent season was D'Angelo Hall when he was in his prime.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's also that division. That division is always crazy for no reason at all.
Never any defense.
Well, yeah, they're the Big 12 of professional divisions.
Basically are.
I know. And they always go different ways. Like, Tampa could win this year for no reason at all. None. They could win that division with a losing record, and it wouldn't shock me. I've seen it happen out of that division. That's why I don't trust anything that happens in the NFC South. Don't get me wrong; it's a crazy entertaining.
Would still shock me a little bit. Let's be real. It's not out of the realm of possibility because, as you said, that division is indeed a clusterfuck. But Tampa would still shock me.
Yeah, no, it would. Trust me, when we do our preseason breakdown for that, I'm not. Tampa's not the one I'm choosing as my favorite. Maybe favorite to finish last.
Perhaps.
I don't know. It's between them and Carolina.
I heard Cam's healthy.
I don't give a shit if he's healthy. He's a bitch boy.
But they said they're not going to let him play with free reign. They're gonna put him on a pitch count for workouts preseason, and then probably on a pitch count.
I don't care. He's pouty like LeBron James with half the talent.
I don't see it, but sure. He definitely makes them better. So you can say attitude or whatever you want, which again I think is blown way out of proportion. But he wins games, so if Cam
not Super Bowls.
It'll be a lot better.
Yeah, well,